the Supreme Court on Tuesday refused an urgent hearing on a plea seeking army protection for minority Kuki tribals amid ethnic violence in Manipur. The vacation bench of Justices Suryakant and M.M. Sundaresh said it is purely a law and order issue. Senior advocate Colin Gonsalves mentioned the matter on behalf of the NGO Manipur Tribal Forum. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta said that security agencies are on the ground and opposed the plea for this urgent hearing. The top court posted the matter for hearing on the 3rd of July. But all is not well in Manipur, and we have been discussing this very closely and monitoring the situation as well. We'll talk about this issue with some of the people who understand it. Lady Wifey Hunjan, Kuki Voice, joins us on the program. Colonel J.S. Sodhi, Foreign Affairs expert, defense expert, also with us on the program. Advocate Gyanendra Mishra, political analyst, also joining us on the program to talk more about this. Lady Hunjan, you know, the violence, as we are all aware and you're also aware, has escalated. It's also escalated to places and areas which were, you know, left untouched the last time this wave of violence occurred. The centre has proposed a solution. There is a peace committee. Chief ministers of adjoining states have also huddled up to find a resolution. But yet here we are talking about this violence and its spread all over again. The Supreme Court also feels that this is a law and order situation. There are a lot of voices, Lady Hunjan, that feel the president's rule should be imposed. What, according to you, is going to be a permanent solution? Why I use the word permanent is because this is not something which has happened or transpired for the first time. If you remember, in the 90s as well, this went on for years. Ma'am, please unmute
yourself.
Am
I audible?
Yes. You are,
okay.
ma'am. Please go ahead.
I think permanent solution cannot be defined in just one line. I always say that diffusion of tension, stop firing, or the mob mentality has to be curtailed as soon as possible. Permanent solution can be discussed by dialogue. I understand that, but before that, first thing is, for me, I am more for a humanitarian ground. What do we do with displaced people who has no home? Forget home, they are all cluttered together in camp. As many as 72 camp people are together. My worry is more than anything else more than finding a permanent solution. My burden goes to those people who have nowhere to even sleep, who have no place to go. What are we going to do with that? Even if we find a permanent solution, that will take time. It is not like something we can achieve overnight. But these people, they sleep every night, they have to get up every day. What about monsoon, seasonal sicknesses? What about the children education? What about finding a permanent shelter home? Like I remember in the riot, in 1984 riot, there's a colony in Delhi. I'm in Delhi, so that's how I know there's a Kyala, which is in Delhi, resettlement colony is set up. What about thinking something like that? Right now, for this displaced people, as many as 50,000. 50,000 is not a small amount. What about their daily food? What about their medicine? Clothing? With monsoon comes sickness, viral fever. There is no warm cloth. It's very sad. One of my friends sent me the solution of to keep them warm is they buy this tarpaulin. So they collected all bed sheet and stick the tarpaulin in between to make a poncho to cover themselves, and that really worked well. But how long are they going to wear this tarpaulin made from all bed sheet? These are my concern more than talking a permanent solution. And another thing is, we have come out of COVID. We all know that students have no school that time, and now school begin to continue regularly. Then this happen again. What about students who are a new generation leaders? They have no school. There's no colleges since 3rd May till now. School in Churachandpur is closed completely, and idle brain of a student can be very dangerous. They're young people. There is no games and sports where they can download themselves. There is no system over there. All these are more in my mind than just talking about permanent solution.
Okay, Professor Amar, Vice Chancellor, former Vice Chancellor of Manipur University, also joins us on the show. Professor Amar, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. I hope you can hear me, sir.
Yeah, okay, I'm here.
So the situation is very fragile. A number of solutions have been presented from a number of quarters, but the violence continues. What do you think can be done at this point in time? It's common knowledge that there are only a few chosen elements who are responsible for this chaos that we have seen in Manipur.
See, normalcy will not come on its own when the situation has reached this stage unless there is governance. We need to establish that there is governance. Only when there is governance can we think of involving a part which all of us can share so that normalcy can be restored. Because I already feel that people on both sides are experiencing very, very well unfortunate hardships, and people do really want to get out of the hardships and go back to normal business. But unfortunately, we don't have governance. Government is there, but there is no governance. And when such situation arises, it is the government which should create a situation, because one party will come, okay, let's meet. Now the situation has reached a level where it's very difficult for any group to trust the order. Anything can happen anywhere. So it is in such circumstances that we expect the government to come up to play the role of mediating among her population. But the government is absent. That is the fundamental tragedy Manipur is facing today.
Okay, Colonel Sodi. Colonel Sodi, what do you make of the situation? How precarious is it? And from an army man's point of view, everything is being done to protect civilians and keep the peace and quiet that comes after such a violence, but it seems to be a dead end in a number of ways.
Jai Hind, Vineet. It's my honor to be on a news channel and a privilege to be with the esteemed co-panelists. The Manipur crisis is a political issue which has got compounded by geopolitical factors. Vineet, I'll take a minute each for the political and the geopolitical reasons. The political reasons, we all are aware, since August 2008, there was this suspension of operations between the Manipur and the other groups, government and the other group. As a result, there was peace in the state. But in February this year, the state government started an anti-encroachment drive in 3 tribal-dominated areas, which started, raising the tempers and tensions. In March this year, the state government withdrew from the suspension of operations agreement, and in the end of March, 5 tribals were killed in Kangpokpi district in Manipur. This led to tempers further increasing. Then on 11th of April, 3 churches were razed by the state government without the due process being followed. And this, and a few days later on 20th April came the judgment of the Manipur High Court. Now, if we see, these are the political reasons. Now, the geopolitical reasons are very well enumerated in a book called Great Game East by Bertel Linter, which says that China is trying its best to create insurgency in the northeastern states. So now, with these political and the geopolitical reasons, there is now existing a great trust deficit between the various groups in Manipur. In my view, all effort has been done by the Union Ministry, but still, the trust deficit is not going. So I recommend that either the Chief Minister of Manipur should be changed or present rule should be imposed in Manipur. And a similar thing was done in 1983 when the Prime Minister was Mrs. Indira Gandhi, who was a Congress leader in the center. She dismissed her own Congress government in Punjab, which was led by Darbara Singh, because there the situation was going out of hand. You see, Vineet, just one last point. Manipur is a very important state for India because it is a border state. We cannot afford to have this mayhem going on indefinitely. Some hard steps need to be taken by the central government.
Advocate Mishra, some hard steps need to be taken by the Indian government. What, according to you, could those hard steps be? The president's rule is obviously going to undermine the government's image of handling this crisis, and that is not an option that they would consider. But they are also stuck between the devil and the deep blue sea, because if they don't do anything, then more people will die, as is, this is going to be exposed.
No, I agree with you, Vineet, and good afternoon. So this is, as the Colonel Suri was telling, that it is a very sensitive. Manipur is a very sensitive state. In fact, most of the northeastern states are very sensitive states because of their ethnic constructions as well as the geopolitical positioning, being in border state. And as we all see with a lot of anxiety, that unabated violence is going on for last 45 days without any break or interruption. And it looks like that the state government has no clear strategy or action plan to control or stop the violence. And the violence has gone to the extent where the houses of even the union ministers are not being spared. And it seems that state government is not able to control it, or as I said, doesn't have any clear action plan how to go about it. And as you rightly said, bringing the precedent rule is not a very easy option for the central government, particularly again given to the turbulent history of northeastern state, because bringing the precedent rules or the central controlled rules also brings the issues of ASFA, which has been a very sensitive issue, particularly for the northeastern state, and which the central government after a long time has tried to dilute it. And bringing back the central government and taking the control also brings back some of the aspects of the ASFA in Manipur. But as you rightly said, that it is a clear situation of in devil and deep sea. And it looks like, as you said, that the Supreme Court has also said that it is basically a law and order situation. And it is little that the judiciary can do here, because judiciary can't decide, how to control the violence. This is obviously the state law and order issue. But if a state is not able to do that, what is the option left? Because the one option which we should not consider and which is not left is now the status quo, which is going on there. This situation of continued violence cannot be and cannot go as I said, as a status quo issue. So I believe that the central government should now seriously consider the option of replacing the state government with the precedent rule and bringing more, the military and the central forces in the state to immediately control the law and order situation.
Okay, but the big question is, Lady Hunjan, will the government do that? Let's not forget that the central government has its image to protect as well, and China's name is being continuously thrown in, for supplying arms and ammunitions to these people who have caused all this violence.
Sodhi ji and Mishra ji, namaskar. I'm really thankful for your point, because I believe that precedent rule at the moment is the only option, because if we don't diffuse the tension over here, we can't move forward. And for the betterment of both, I'm not blaming any for anybody who is in Manipur. If we diffuse the tension, then we can even think about dialogue, political dialogue. Right now, even if you try to take any positive step, the very day violence eruptions reported, then what do we do in that case? And it may be a very tough thing for central government, but like Mishra ji said, that do we have any option when the state is burning for 45 days? We really think that the central government should step in, because Manipur burning means the country is burning. We can't separate Manipur from any other parts of the country. So we have seen that we are not blaming, even the state is trying their best, but in spite of that, 45 days is a long day just to the center to keep quiet. That is, I think, the most quick and easy solution right now if precedent rule is implemented. And then the rest of the thing, the other problem that come along with this crisis, we can handle that. We can even talk about, like I said, even rehabilitation, even who's holding gun, who's not holding gun, everything will become clear after that. Then at least our mind also will become clearer. Right now, it is like one house goes off and the other start burning. It's too much of chaos. First thing, always I say, let's stop the fight at one go. Like it's very sad that we thought Valley, the Impal Valley was, calmer, but then a day ago we heard that some of our union ministers' homes were attacked or burned, or all those things happen again. So I think president rule, in my little understanding, see, I am not a political party. I'm just one of a victim, I must say, because I also have a small shop over there, which is closed since the day this happened. And I have a lot of families over there. I can't even go back right now. Obviously, the reason known to everybody, Impal Airport is not accessible for a Kuki Zo ethnic group. It's not safe. So in all this situation, I believe if PR is imposed, at least we will start, we believe in the central government forces. That's no doubt about it. Both the group will agree to that. So if we have a president rule, then at least some form of governance, this lawlessness will begin to make a clearer shape. Some kind of law will be implemented, and then we can move to the next group. And then also the gravity of the situation is, I can't even express the ground reality where internet is not there, videos are not being sent out to the affected people, mobile phone is restricted because 1 hour of electricity in different areas in Churachandpur, you can't even recharge mobile phone, and then you don't have internet for 1.5 months. Now imagine, even the real news, I believe, are yet to come out. So in this situation, a little bit of law and order can be obtained by implementation of president rule. President rule itself is for us. The Constitution has given us by the Article 356. So the governor, Her Excellency, have already visited. She has seen the extent of the pain of the normal people. If she can somehow speak for us to Amit Shah ji, and I believe Amit Shah ji will, for the betterment of both the party, will quickly implement president law. That's my point. I think that is right now the need.
Right, absolutely. Professor Ahmed, do you think that conversations with the Home Minister directly from the core team members of the community will make a difference? But in our conjecture, those have already happened.
Well, let us be very clear on what exactly is the scenario today. It is a kind of a scenario where people do not have any kind of trust on the capability of the state government. And it is a scenario where people feel that the center doesn't care. So if it is going to be president rule, it's going to be ruled by the center. But the present sheer feeling of the people is that center also doesn't care. Well, when all the representatives go to Delhi and try to meet the Prime Minister of the country, forget. Usually our Prime Minister, on any happening anywhere, within 1 or 2 hours we get reactions from him. Just look, any kind of disaster or anything happening anywhere in the country, we find the reaction of the Prime Minister within less than 1 hour. But we have a scenario where the Prime Minister has not met any stage, not uttered any statement, so the central government also has not given any kind of direction. Well, security forces have been sent. Are the security forces acting the way they should be acting to bring the situation under control? No.
Okay.
The very credibility of the central security forces also have been compromised in Manipur. So it's a kind of scenario where people do not have any kind of agency on which they can depend upon. But we have no alternative. We must see to it that somehow or the other there is a government. That is where the president rules comes in. But it can never be the usual president's rule. Because people do not have their trust on the central government either.
Okay.
So if we are going to have a president's rule in Manipur, it should not be that, well, with all respect to our governor, madam, and things like that, it should all be that from across the country, we have 3-4 persons with, unquestioned credibility, irrespective of belonging to any political party or not. The president rule should be accompanied by 3-4 very capable, non-credible people who are respected across the country for their non-compromise on quality and governance. Number one. Number two, it is very important that somehow, whether it is president rule or whatever.
All right, so some problem with your connection. I'm going to take a response from Colonel Sodhi as well. Colonel Sodhi, practical solutions. What can the forces do at this point in time? Are they only doing what they instructed to do, and so the sole blame cannot be also put on them?
Vineet, the armed forces of any country are the instrument of the government, and they act on the orders of the government, and they act within the parameters and the ambit of the law that is clearly specified. My own very dear friends are operating in Manipur. I can tell you the Indian Army is doing its job 24/7 without any fear of favor, without any bias. They are working day and night to ensure that peace and normalcy comes to Manipur. But one thing has to be understood, Vineet, that these are political issues which can only be solved politically. Army can assist in getting the situation to some kind of normalcy where the political dialogue is initiated, the trust deficit is taken away, and the normal political process resumes in the state. Vineet, I myself have been a near victim of a similar kind of situation when in 1984 anti-Sikh riots, my father escaped near death when 1,000 strong mob was standing outside the house ready to kill him, and a couple, Mr. and Mrs. R.K. Sharma, saved him. And till they were alive, whenever I would go on leave from my army to my parents' house in Delhi, I would go and touch the feet of Mr. and Mrs. R.K. Sharma, for they had saved my father's life. Vineet, one thing, our political parties need to understand. Since 1947, almost every political party has politicized and polarized voters for their vote banks. Well, that is their business. They want to get the vote banks. But the cost is enormous. The country is suffering. Today, at a time when India is going economically strong, militarily strong, geopolitically strong, such incidents do give India a bad name. My earnest request to all the political parties through your esteemed channel is that this politics and this polarization should stop by every political party. Yes, they have to fight elections, they have to win elections, that is all right. But such things only make the country weaker.
I agree with you. You're absolutely right. Politicization is not the solution over here. In fact, even for the opposition parties, for that matter, anyone who's looking for a solution in Manipur, because the amount of time which has been spent by both the communities and both the center and the state in trying to resolve their issues has to be commended.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.